Now, where is my money?
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so here we go again. We've got Democrats once again proving that they are not part of Team America. The Trump derangement syndrome runs so incredibly rampant on the left that when Trump is getting into trade negotiations with Mexico and Canada, they take the side of Mexico and Canada. And now in this case, after Ukraine's president, or honestly it's hard to call him that considering there still hasn't been an election, but anyways, the current sitting president, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, makes his way to the White House and totally disrespects Donald Trump and JD Vance. They're out here trying to make the claim that Donald Trump is an unhinged psychopath who's again doing Vladimir Putin's bidding from the Oval Office, when in reality what he was actually doing was standing up for American interest, standing up for peace abroad, and of course pushing back at the complete contempt and disrespect that was coming from Volodymyr Zelenskyy. I want to go ahead and chime in on the chaotic encounter that recently happened at the White House, and actually I want to lead with a hot mic moment, which I think is going to really help me make my point here. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, the first thing that I want to do is I want to start off with the theme here. I think the key theme is disrespect. And this ought to put it into perspective. There's a hot mic moment that's currently bouncing around that's alleging that Volodymyr Zelenskyy called JD Vance a bitch, in his language, suka, when JD Vance was attempting to make the point that Ukraine was struggling to conscript soldiers to the front line of this battle.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a
Now, we don't know if this is 100% confirmed or not, but it certainly seemed like it, and in general, the attitude was just really disrespectful in general. It seemed like he went there to air grievances and to attack and lecture the Trump administration.
During 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people, you know? Yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal, ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. He broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
During the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of
war.
millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards. It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
And I think Trump was absolutely right. The tone was unappreciative and frankly hard-headed. It's almost as if he went in there to antagonize Donald Trump, which doesn't make any sense. Because firstly, Trump's the one paying the damn bills, and secondly, we all know the intention from the Trump administration.
I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This is This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else.
The Trump administration wants diplomacy. They want to end this conflict. And frankly, it seems like Volodymyr Zelenskyy has a problem with that, and he can't accept it, and he wants to fight to the bitter end. And kind of the vibe that I'm getting is it feels almost as if Volodymyr Zelenskyy has a very, very big personal grudge against Vladimir Putin. It's personal for him, and it seems as though he's almost willing to sacrifice to the end. And what does that mean? That means sacrificing American and European taxpayer dollars and, of course, Ukrainian lives, young Ukrainian lives, the future of his country. You know, at what point does it become enough? At what point do we stop this white and black narrative of unimpeachable good guy versus the absolutely evil other side, a viewpoint, a worldview that will see this needless conflict go on for decades? At what point do we stop and start negotiating and start bringing both sides, both perspectives, and stop viewing this from a one-sided lens? And that's not to say that Russia is a utopic state that did nothing wrong. Russia is a corrupt communist authoritarian regime. I'm not a big fan, but the idea that we can't come to the table and we can't listen to both sides and both grievances with an actual open mind and try to figure out how to end this damn thing, it's just not rational. And again, how many more hundreds of thousands of lives must be sacrificed for the military ambitions of one man on both sides? It's gotta freaking stop. And that's the conversation that I think most people are clamoring for, frankly. But apparently that's so offensive to Volodymyr Zelenskyy that he felt the need to come to Washington and disrespect the President of the United States in the Oval Office. Really, I think a bad frickin' move. An inadvisable move. In fact, it was so bad that it even seemingly turned Lindsey Graham against him. And you know the significance of that, of course. Lindsey Graham, possibly the biggest warmonger in the Senate. Lindsey Graham, who used to be Volodymyr Zelensky's #1 fan, Lindsey Graham, whose previous stance was we will fight this to the last person, or rather Ukraine will fight this to their last person.
I like the structural path we're on here. As long as we help Ukraine with the weapons they need and the economic support, they will fight to the last person.
Lindsey Graham, I mean, a real fanboy of Volodymyr Zelenskyy.
I want to tell you and your people, you're the ally I've been hoping for all my life. Not one American has died defending Ukraine, and I'm very proud to have you as our ally.
Yeah, well, it seems even Lindsey Graham is dropping Volodymyr Zelenskyy. I think, honestly, a lot of people had their eyes open today. And I think Trump's conclusion of the meeting really hit the nail on the head. A statement from President Donald J. Trump. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I've determined that President Zelenskyy is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. I think that pretty much sets the tone. People want peace. They want an end to this conflict. They want stability returned to the region. And clearly the president of Ukraine is not ready for them. It seems to offend him, and I think that's really rubbing people the wrong way. And I know the left and the media is going to run with this idea that Trump's a Russian stooge, once again doing the bidding of Vladimir Putin. What a disaster, what an embarrassment, yada, yada, yada. I don't think this was embarrassing at all. I think this was frankly needed, and this is the exact kind of open dialogue and really emotional back and forth that's required for the truth to come out and for progress to be made. You know, enough of these fake meetings where two statesman-like world leaders meet and discuss the conflict and nothing's actually said, and then billions upon billions of dollars are plundered from the US taxpayers for endless, needless conflict. No, it's time to start hashing it out. It's time to start really speaking about the truth. It's time for all sides to be speaking openly and honestly and addressing each other's grievances effectively. It's time to broker and negotiate peace because, again, the dying has to stop. And really, so does the disrespect. Donald Trump is trying to do the right thing here, and so maybe work with him instead of antagonizing him. And also, you're in the Oval Office, please wear a suit. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.